If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that
What does that mean?
old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Good morning, Jobfather Nation. Thank you to all of those out there joining us on Joco Community Radio. You are watching The Jobfather with The Jobfather, none other than himself, Foster Williams, and co-host myself, Dana Gingerich. Just keep in mind, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas. And guess what? It's live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to TuneIn. App is now available for free. You can download it whether you have your Android platform or iOS iPhone device platform. Simply just search your store, download it, and listen to the full lineup for free. Keep in mind, this episode is brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Well, we are here yet another Friday right before the holidays. Keep in mind, this will be our last live show before Christmas. We are looking forward to our lineup today. Foster, tell us a little bit about what we have going on today.
I'm looking forward to 2023. Oh my God, we're close.
I know. Too close.
I see Randy Daniel. Guys, Randy is an awesome recruiter with Financial Additions. I wanted you guys to meet her, and here she is. Today we're going to be talking about that infamous, that dreaded question of why did you leave your last job? But we're going to learn a little bit about Financial Additions first, and then I've got my buddy, the main man, 50 grand, Nick Adame with us. And Nick and I are Argentina fans. World Cup soccer is on throughout the world. I know y'all are watching. You better be watching. So Nick, guys, is a leader in the financial and operations space. So we're going to be talking to him on the second part of the show about what it is that he does and why you guys should hire him. There are a number of people that are listening right now. My texts always go nuts on the phone when we start the show. So I want to give a shout out. I want to shout out to Karen, Grace, and Michelle, who were on. They were on with us about it about a little bit over a month ago now.
Yes.
And then our friend Vika is listening. And good morning, Vika. Vika is in Belgium. And so we hope to meet her soon. And, there are a number of folks that are listening in. Hey, I'm sure Jason Hopper will be hopping on with us here pretty soon. And guys, Jason is one of the coaches over at the Jewish Family Services over in Dallas. You guys can go to jfsdallas.org and you can see a number of things that the JFS does for job seekers. They are there to empower job seekers to keep us going on our way. And Rex, we love to see you. Rex Sowett, guys, is out in North Carolina. And honestly, Rex is the reason that I do what I do. So without further ado, guys, let's move forward. We always like to start off just a little bit before we talk with Randy. We are going to see who landed. Now, you guys, I know usually this time of year, everybody's like, oh, I'm going to stop my job search. Nothing's going on. Well, really? So we've had 3 job announcements over the last 3 hours this morning.
Wow.
We've had a promotion. So let me start, guys. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with it because we don't have a lot of time to go through them all. But oh man, we have had a lot in the last 3 weeks. Dana, you probably remember. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, our friend Kathy Guthrie. Hey, Kathy, she is a CHRO. She's a Chief Human Resource Officer at N Contracts. And congratulations, Kathy. Hope you're listening. Our buddy Trudy Wade she's been promoted to a Chief Financial Officer at Ready
Woo!
Computing. Wow, I love that stuff. Amanda Lowry has just started at the University of California, San Diego. So yay, Mandy.
All
And
right.
she is going to be an associate director there. So when you guys are interested in doing business with University of California, you know, me being a UCLA person, Cal is one of our big
Yeah.
and Faith Livingstone, you got a document control specialist position at OrthoFix right over in Dallas.
Yeah.
Y'all hear all this going on?
Very nice.
This is all just this week.
This
Wow.
is great.
I know it really is. This is awesome. Rachel Tyler, we love Rachel Tyler. She's director of marketing at Dunham and Company. Now, Dunham and Company is very well branded, guys. My buddy Diara Williams, who is he is president and wealth advisor at Golden Gift Wealth Management. And man, I'm just excited. We got so much stuff. Tom Monty, I won't forget you because I know you're listening. You always do. And he's got a position as a sales specialist at Trailhead Running Supply. There you go, Tom. See, I told you, man, I was going to say something about it. All right. So now let's get back. I promised you guys we were going to talk to Randy. So hello, Randy. Joel Fry is with us. Look over there. Hey, Vika. I see Vika she is checked in. Hey, Vika. And Joel Fry, guys, is, I guess I could say, if you want to know how to network, Joel Fry is the main lady. Oh my God. Joel Fry, awesome. Good to see you. So let's talk a little bit to Randy. Randy, tell us a little bit about your company because, I wanted you and Nick to meet anyway. I was going to introduce you guys on LinkedIn, but I don't have to now. You're looking right at each other. So, tell us a little bit, Randy. Tell us a little bit about Financial Additions.
Sure. So Financial Additions, we're a staffing company, and we help our clients fill their accounting, finance roles, everything from a CFO or controller to a senior accountant, staff accountant, all the way to an entry-level bookkeeper or AP specialist role. Everything temp to hire, direct hire. We place any type of position in the accounting and finance industry. We also have an HR side as well. So we also help HR folks find jobs, and we help our clients in that sector as well. So I was excited to meet Nick as well. When I saw his background, I said, oh, well, this is going to be a perfect show for us.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I want to shout out to my buddy Alexandra Favor. When I first started this network, we had a meeting over in Mansfield. I was living in Mansfield at that time before moving over here to Grapevine South Lake, and she was the first person to walk through that door. So hey, Alex, I'm glad you're with me. Hey, Alex, I've got to introduce you today, and I'm sorry I haven't done that already. I want to introduce you guys.
Shame on you, Foster.
I know.
Just kidding.
Man, I can't think of everything. How about that?
I'm totally kidding.
I know you are. That's why Dana, guys, this show would not be the Jobfather without Dana Gingerich. Right
Oh,
there. I cannot say
Yeah.
enough about Dana.
no.
God keeps blessing us, and we just keep moving forward. This show, for all of you guys that are listening, is intended to bring good information for job seekers to know. Meet good
Yes.
people like Randy Daniel, and
Yeah.
people and you companies that are listening. Hello, Alcon. I see you out there too. Just okay. I just got a text from Alcon. So,
Thanks,
Nick is
Joelle.
going to be our job. Nick's why y'all want y'all to listen to the show today. Because let me tell you something. You guys need to hire Nick, and you need to pay him.
There you go, Foster.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
let's get back to Randy. I
Yeah.
digress. Let's get back to Randy. So, guys, let me tell you why I'm excited. And I had to invite Randy on the show today because I heard Randy give um, I heard her give a proposition, a presentation about that dreaded RFL questions. Well, Foster, what are you talking about,
Yeah.
RFL?
Yep.
Reasons for leaving.
Leaving.
Why it's important when we get to that point in the interview, guys, that you
Yes.
know how to present your reason for leaving your company, because you don't want to go on there. Oh, I couldn't stand my boss. Nick was man. I can't stand him. I had to leave. No, you don't. You don't want to go the negative route. We want to be
Yeah.
able to express that in the correct tense. So, Randy,
Exactly.
I'm going to shut up and let you share with us some things that are at the top of your mind about the RFL.
Sure. So I just have to give y'all an example of just yesterday of one of the candidates that I interviewed, because I just had to laugh, and I actually got to coach her a little bit, but there was just no coaching that could help her. I'm not sure. But she, her when I got her actual resume, which was not the one that was posted out online, it showed 6 months at each of her jobs over the last few years. And so I said, well, tell me about this. Was it a contract position? And she said, oh, no, it just wasn't a fit. Well, why wasn't it a fit? She's like, well, my boss said it wasn't a fit. And I was like, or she said, my supervisor said it wasn't a fit. And I was laid off. And I was like, oh, okay, you were laid off. She was like, yeah. I said, well, did you get a severance? She was like, no, she just let me go. And I'm like, okay, we're going to work through this. She was actually let go. So tell me about your next role. Well, it wasn't a fit either. The supervisor, she said it wasn't a fit. And so she just keeps 4 positions back after she said that fourth one was a personality, mismatch. I was like, oh, this girl's not, we can't help her because it seems like there's a problem here.
Yeah.
So, but even the way that and I coached her on one of them, and I said, well, you can't say you were just bored if that wasn't the case. Like, you can say you weren't challenged, and we kind of walked through, some of just to help her. But after 4 jobs of being a personality mismatch, you have to kind of question whose personality was not.
Yeah, it's
So,
like a trend. It's like a trend
mismatch again.
Right.
Yeah.
So hearing that, Dana, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll jump in there with my little stuff.
No,
keep
it's
going.
okay.
Keep going, Randy.
So that's always, I start a lot of times with, tell me about your role and why did you leave? Like, that is such an important question for us in the staffing industry, because our clients, they really want to know that people are going to be consistent. They're going to stick with their jobs. And if you've got really shaky reasons for leaving, or if you just don't know how to word them and they sound shaky, then it's going to be really hard to move forward in the interview process. And that's kind of what I always see.
Randy, kind of jumping in on that, I remember there was a time in my life where I had a friend from a previous company recruit me to come on over and recruit for pharmaceutical professionals. And I thought, oh, this sounds great. I'm really interested. Well, I went through the interview process. Things went great. They made me an offer. I got there and kind of found out as I started that there was a very toxic dynamic with the leader there. And the leader was under investigation for potentially stealing some of the software and proprietary information from a previous company. So once I kind of knew what was going on, he decided to let me go, right? And for no reason. I mean, I didn't have a reason, but I had to be prepared. How do I show integrity? Because this was kind of out of my control. I didn't know this was going on with this guy when I accepted the role. and I didn't realize kind of the dynamic. And when I say I've worked in a lot of companies, right? When I say it was a toxic dynamic, it was truly a toxic dynamic. But can I say that when I'm speaking to new potential employers? No. There's got to be a healthy way. So I was able to take this example because we probably all had at least one position in our life where it was a very unhealthy dynamic. It wasn't what we were sold. We got in there and realized, whoa. And then you find out about some legalities. The way I believe I worded it was, I was recruited for this opportunity by a previous peer of mine, and sounded like a great opportunity. I liked the industry it was in, but once I got there, there were some things that came to fruition, legalities that I was not aware of, that I just didn't feel comfortable being a part of, and felt that it was in my best interest to pursue other opportunities. And that was a very simple professional way for me to say, yeah, they weren't on the up and up, without talking really bad, because we don't want to talk bad about employers. We want to keep our verbiage professional and as neutral as possible. And what I think could be helpful for our listeners, that's one example. Randy, would you mind providing a couple examples of a situation and maybe how to word it better?
Sure. So we find, I hear that a lot. My leadership was toxic. My job was terrible. You have the complainer. Oh, my coworkers were terrible. My work schedule was terrible, and everything was just terrible about the job. And there's just a better way. So we don't want to become across as a complainer. No company wants to hire a complainer. They want positive people. So how can we word this differently? And it might have all been terrible, but let's pick one thing to say, this is what we didn't like. This what was not a fit about the job. And we don't say we didn't like this. We say this wasn't a fit for what I was looking for. If it's schedule, whatever the case may be. And you just kind of keep it brief, and you don't badmouth the company or your coworkers or anything, because that's just a no-no in the interview process. And we've had lots of people been canceled out just because of, they were negative about their job. So that's definitely one example that's that we can just word more gracefully. Let me think of another one. So go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
So I used to recruit in the hospitality industry. So lots of restaurants, lots of hotels, and you get some crazy reasons for leaving when you're in that industry. I can remember and I would recruit managers. So these are management people I'm talking to. And he's like, well, I broke a rule, but the rule was dumb. It was a bad rule. And I'm like, okay, was this was a company policy? And he was like, yes, I didn't agree with the rules. So you don't agree with the policies. And I was like, well, what was the rule? And he was like, well, my girlfriend was a waitress, and we weren't allowed to date waitresses as a manager. And I'm like, that's like a pretty legit rule. Like you can't say that was why you were fired or let go, because wow. And so it was just completely off the charts. Like that's not how we talk about why we left a position. And so we worked through that to where, that was years ago. So I don't even remember what I coached him on, because I'm pretty sure I was shocked. Like,
oh my gosh.
I'll tell you one thing. It's one thing that companies do, guys. Now, feel a little bit more confident about approaching this question, because everybody knows what happened to COVID. A lot of people were let go during COVID for many changes, honestly, that we in the corporate sector are still adjusting to. We're still finding out, do we want to go back? I say we were forced the majority of jobs. I would say probably 95% of the jobs were remote at a certain particular time during COVID.
Right.
And now we're kind of getting back. Well, they've gotten it in our head now. Hey, it's pretty cool to work from home. So you know what, Randy? I want to work from home. I want a remote job. I don't want to go back to the office. And that changes things up. But here's what Foster has done. I've been recruiting for a little while. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been recruiting. So you know what? Nick and I were laughing about that. But I will ask this question. You guys get ready for this question. I left. COVID hit my company and left off. Well, so Nick, how many people were released, were you the only one that was? This is what we're trying to get to. Were you the only
Sure.
one that was released, or how many people were affected with that layoff? If
Well,
that
yeah.
answer is just Nick, then I'm starting to go in a different direction. I'm like, okay, then you were the only one laid off. We want to dig a little bit deeper into this personality of Nick Adame.
No, that's right. No, my specific situation, and I echo a lot of what I heard here, is that you have to keep it positive. But as it relates to me specifically, it was a series of folks that were,
Yeah.
um, their roles were eliminated. My role was
Yeah.
eliminated. Actually, it was split into two and then split across a couple different folks. Other roles were consolidated. A lot of my peers. But again, it's all about keeping it positive. Saputo Inc.
Yep.
has been a great company to me, and they treated me very well on the way in, on the way out. So absolutely no reason to even say anything negative. But I do
Yeah.
echo what I heard from Randy, from Dana, is that I've interviewed many candidates, and there's different ways to articulate a reason. But really, what I was looking for is, are we being negative, or are we keeping it positive?
Right.
And you don't have to be precise or perfect in the way you articulate it, but as long as you keep it positive, then that becomes a positive for me and the way I view a candidate, and it's not a deal breaker. But
Yeah.
once you start going negative, then regardless of the reason, then you have a different slant on those candidates versus someone who's not going to portray themselves and that situation as negative.
That's
That
right.
is so true. It is so true.
Randy,
my,
go
my
ahead,
pre
Dana.
oh, okay, my previous company, I loved it. I worked there a little over 10 years. However, I'd been there a long time,
Hmm.
and I was looking for new challenges. I had pretty much accomplished everything, and then they started. I had my hands in a little bit of everything, but then as we grew, we had to start hiring people for those things. So my role got more and more and more streamlined, and I liked the ability to impact a lot of areas of HR and grow and learn. And so the way I explained it when I started interviewing after being there 10 years, why are you open to considering new opportunities? Well, I am very happy with my current company. I've been here over 10 years and I truly enjoy the organization. However, as we're continuing to grow, we're needing to bring in more and more people, and we are streamlining each of the roles a little bit differently. And I'm truly looking for more of a challenge and more of an opportunity to dig in and learn and expand what I already know. And that was a positive way for me to put a spin on, hey, you know what? I love the company I was with, but we've gotten to a point where we're too big for me to have my hands in everything. So, we're having to hire people, and it's really streamlining my role, and I'm not challenged anymore. But I didn't bring it up in a negative light. I brought it up in a positive light. And I think job seekers really have to ask themselves, if I were in the interviewer's shoes, would I hire me based on the response I'm giving? Or am I giving red flags?
Right.
One thing I want to say, Dana, I'm glad you said that. It reminded me of, actually, I've been familiar with Randy's company for a long time. And Financial Additions, guys, is a type of company that companies can do an RPO. In other
Yep.
words, if you don't have your own recruiters, you can hire Financial Additions to do your recruiting for you. Now they specialize in the finance and accounting area, but there's other things that happen when you build a. What's my word, Dana?
Relationship.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. But there have been a number of wonderful people that work for Financial Additions over the years that I have connected with, and I have built a relationship with. And Financial Additions is one of those companies that builds relationships with their clients. Now, those
Yes.
clients, if you do a good job and you hire me a couple of good people, okay, I got a CPA from you, I got a controller from you. Oh my God, and they're doing good. Well, you know what? I might need to hire somebody in HR. Who am I going to reach out to? I'm going to reach out to Randy at Financial Additions. So, guys, that's the kind of company that Financial Additions is. So, what I prefaced all of that for was to realize and let you guys know those type of companies, like the company that Randy works for. This question is very, very important, because a relationship that we have with our client company is going to be continued if we continue to send them the right people for the right opportunities. If you're coming off negative, and I've got a lady that I'm working with right now that is a marketing executive, like at the top level, and she doesn't know it. I've got to find a way to tell her, hey, maybe some of this is you. She she just got fired from a company because of this. How do you say that? So when you meet somebody that has kind of a abrasive personality,
Yeah.
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 it well, I tend not to hire people with abrasive personalities, but if you got an abrasion, you can still get a job. But uh,
Oh my goodness.
oh my God, Foster. So you know what? These are the things, guys, that we have to, that positivity that Nick is talking about in that interview. We want to
Yeah.
show them our teeth. See there? I don't want to show you all mine because I got a few missing. No, I'm kidding. So so guys, we want to smile. You will be surprised how much a smile like Dana has there and eye contact
Just
in that
kidding.
interview. When you're telling me something that you think I want to hear rather than the truth, you're going to be kind of looking on the floor. You might be looking
Yeah.
around, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I'm sure Randy has seen some of this. But it's important, guys, that when a company like Randy's is interviewing us, that we have we have all of our ducks in a row.
And if you don't, we're going to coach you on it, and we're going to help you get
That's
your ducks
right.
in a row.
I think that's
That's
great
right.
that you do that, Randy, because not all companies take the time to coach
Oh,
and help
absolutely.
candidates, and that shows a side of goodwill for people.
Yeah.
Right.
It really does.
Right.
You build that relationship. If you have a relationship, guys, with someone, a company, whatever it is, you know a little bit about what it's like to work with that person. You know a little bit about what that person is like. Well, yeah, you should be coached as to the best ways to deal with that person.
Right.
I went to UCLA. If you went to USC, we got a problem. No, I'm kidding. But you know what? If I was working with Randy, she would tell me that, hey,
Right.
don't say anything. Don't. You might not want to say anything about SC because the guy that you're going to be interviewing with graduated from SC. So you might want to be careful because I know on your resume you got your UCLA Bruins on your resume, and he's probably already thinking, let's see where this is going to go.
Yeah.
Now,
So
one thing, one thing to
go,
build
Nick.
off of that, one thing to build off of that, Foster, and I think you're touching on it regarding relationships. And I think relationships boil down to people, right? So it is
Mhm.
about the people. And oftentimes I've had really good relationships with some of different recruiting firms that I use to source candidates for my team.
Uh-huh.
But oftentimes I would, it was going well, but then the leadership of that agency changed. And all of a sudden it was not the same type of relationship anymore. I think, Randy, you talked about how you're actually coaching some of the candidates as you interview them, which a lot of agencies don't do that. They're just in and out. If they don't fit exactly what you're looking for, then they don't have time for you and they're on to the next one. But I think that's a function of the individual recruiter as well as the philosophy of the organization. As that leadership changes
All right. We're
You
about
know
to
what
get
that
kinds of
is.
the
people
music.
changes, yes.
All right. We will be back to finish up on the second half of the show. See you in just a minute.
Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog.
I'm Wilfred Brimley for Loafing Dog. When I get the hankering for a hot dog, I go to Cleburne, Texas. Just a couple blocks off the square, they got Loafing Dog. They got the Neely Dog, the Mary Sunshine Dog, the Casey Dog, and the Shirley Dog. Why, they even got the Pacer Dog, the Brooklyn Dog, and the Jim Dog. Can't forget the Shane Dog, or the Joy Dog, and the Monty Dog. I like that fool. The Nakia Dog and the Braxton Dog round things off. Why, they even got a kids menu too.
Loafing Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleburne, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone number is 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loafing Dog won't give you diabetes.
Out of deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleburne, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson, 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
Hey, Jobfather Nation, thank you for coming back to the second half of our show, The Jobfather. Keep in mind, Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com and choose where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on the Android and iOS platforms. Just simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. Now, before we get into the second half, Foster, let's go ahead and bow our head for a word of prayer.
Absolutely.
Father God, we just thank you for the privilege and the honor to be here to support and help job seekers and job transitioners. Lord, we know you have good plans for their lives. We pray that we would remember as we're wrapping up 2022, the true reason for this holiday season is you, Jesus. And I just pray for safety for all those traveling and for a blessed and exciting new year with opportunity. In your name we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right. So, guys, I want to take a poke at my buddy Rick Ballou. He went to USC. He's listening to us. He goes, Foster, I wouldn't hire you anyway. Rick, I'm gonna get you, boy. So anyway,
funny.
So I want to introduce you guys to Nick Adame. So you companies, y'all need to listen very closely to what we're about to talk about right now. So that's Nick Adame over there, and he is a leader, guys. It has been for years in the operations and the financial space. So, and while we've got Randy listening intently, let's talk a little bit about Nick. Nick, tell us a little bit about what it is that you do. What is your passion, and the direction that you go. You might have some target companies. One of your target companies might be a company that Randy's company works with. You never know.
No, absolutely. No, Foster, I appreciate the intro and the opportunity to be on the radio. I'll start with just a bit of a background for myself. So again, Nick Adame, 25 years experience, primarily across a manufacturing environment, both domestic and international. Most recently served as Vice President of Finance and Operations for Saputo Inc., the US-based subsidiary of Saputo Inc., which Saputo Inc. actually is a Canadian-based global dairy company. Immediately prior to that, I was with Morningstar Foods, serving as the business unit CFO, and then previously served in a couple different divisions of PepsiCo, leading teams in commercial finance, FP&A, and procurement. I'm also a CPA with early roots in public accounting. Foster, you and I've talked about this. I think what I believe sets me apart from my peers is that it's my unique combination of this deep financial acumen combined with this hyper focus on execution allows me to create a profitable and sustainable path in terms of people and processes. So I have a deep track record of delivering results, serving as a business partner in terms of driving profitability and process efficiencies across an organization. My three primary strengths really are developing and leading with metric-based insights, unlocking organizational capability through process optimization, and most importantly, building high performing teams. I think your specific question was what industry? Obviously for me, it's about the role. I think
Yeah, you got a lot of industry. Yeah.
I got a lot of transferable skills,
Yeah.
but I'm looking for a role where I can build off that skill set and that experience. More specifically, a role where I can lead a function, such as a hands-on CFO, COO, and really serve as that strategic partner to the CEO and the rest of the leadership team. In terms of companies, to me, I haven't really dug that far yet. It's about the industries. I'm pretty wide open in terms of industry. Certainly, manufacturing is where I've been, so that's my first preference. But very open to adjacent industries where I believe I could have a transferable experience as well.
Nick, do you speak a little Spanish?
I do. I
Ooh.
speak. I do speak Spanish. I'm more conversational. Obviously, internationally, I've worked with Argentina.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
worked with different folks where language comes into play, and I have used it. It's not part of what I do every day, but it is certainly conversational. And
Yep. Me too. Yeah.
sporadically, I use it in the office as well.
Hey Nick, now you being in the dairy industry, you may have heard. I love the name of this company, Lala.
Yep.
LA. Are you familiar with Lala?
I am. I'm familiar with Lala. Absolutely.
Yeah, if you have not, and you probably have, but if you have not checked out opportunities at Lala, I think you should.
Absolutely.
My mom's family is from Mexico, so I have been exposed to Spanish my entire
Yep.
life and the culture, the Mexican culture, and that's why I'm able to jump in and have these conversations with Nick about the World Cup and the history of the World Cup and who wins and why we do so well. The Latinos do so well in the World Cup. But you know what? I see David Balls with us talking of international. David Ball's mom was Japanese, and we have
Wow.
wonderful conversations about that. But here's what companies, I want you to hear me. This is what I like, and I've been recruiting for a long time now. That what I like to hear about people like Nick. Nick is involved, and Nick, you'll probably want to expound on this, but Nick is
Sure.
involved in the process. I had a very lofty position as a director of talent acquisition at a number of these big, huge companies that you guys see. You know, the IBMs, the Verizon, Citigroup. That's where I cut my teeth. Some of them are cut out now. I got one missing. I'm kidding, but but you know what, guys? I was involved in the process. I wasn't a guy sitting in an ivory tower office coming up with ideas. I was the guy that was on the road out there finding out what was really happening. And that's what I like about Nick's experience. Nick, you want to expand on that?
Sure, absolutely. No, I think as I mentioned before, what I believe sets me apart is that financial acumen as well as that hyper focus and execution. And I'd like to dig a little deeper into the financial acumen, for example. I had 3 points. So common to all my roles, even beginning with my public accounting time to all the various positions I had at PepsiCo, as
Uh-huh.
well as even my more senior roles at Saputo and in Morningstar, finance and accounting has been core to that experience. It's something that I do every day. Number two is that broad spectrum of roles has really allowed me to have this depth in several different areas, whether it's accounting, auditing, financial planning and analysis, procurement, revenue management, pricing, annual budgeting,
There it is.
forecasting,
Hmm.
developing, performance management systems, just to name a few. So I think my last bullet point on financial acumen is that wide array of experience, that's my bedrock. That's what it's kind of ingrained into me now, and it's the core of my financial expertise. What I believe sets me apart, to your point, Foster, is that I have the ability to leverage this multifaceted financial expertise in moving
Hmm.
the business forward through this hyper focus on execution. And I can give you an example of that again with 3 bullets. So let's begin with a company strategy, for instance. A company could be in a situation where they're in hyper growth mode,
Right.
where they can't even service the demand of a customer. So they develop
Uh-huh.
strategic initiatives that will help close that gap. Conversely, you could have another company in a different situation. It's really slow organic growth. And we have
Yeah.
to very quickly dive into and identify how can we accelerate that growth. So the second point is all of a sudden that creates this need from top down and across all functions for us to sit down understand and align on what's it going to take to close those initiatives, to complete those initiatives. What's it going to take in terms of task, time, resources? If we're in a bandwidth limited situation, are there some trade-offs we're going to have to make? And then lastly, it's about establishing this organizational cadence where we have this closed loop follow-up process so that you can track the progress, you can understand the trade-offs, you can course correct, and then you can in flight, obviously switch priorities, move priorities around. So that's an example of kind of very tactically what I mean by hyper focus, because it's that hyper focus that allows us to take the initiatives that are driving our strategy all the way through into execution and delivering the results that we're looking for. So I believe it's that expertise between the financial acumen combined with that hyper focus on execution that allows me to be able to be that strategic partner to the CEO and to the rest of the leadership organization that allows me to build and grow a particular business.
One thing I just got a text. That's awesome what you're saying, Nick. I just got a text from Keurig, and you guys know that Keurig about Dr. Pepper Snapple, and so I wanted to throw that company at you as well. If you haven't done a little digging around in that company, check them out too, Nick. But companies, these are the things that we need to see. We need to, in our strategic positions, we need to see that people, if you're looking for that kind of person, and we all know you are, you want a person that is going to articulate to you that they've been in the trenches and they know what's going on. They're just not throwing something at you that they read in a book, but they've been in the trenches. They've been part of these meetings. I was one of those people, but you know what? Y'all can't hire me because I don't want no job no more. But Nick Adame, I want you guys to check him out on LinkedIn. Nick, what is the best way for folks to contact you?
Absolutely. LinkedIn, obviously, let's connect on LinkedIn. I'd love to have any conversation. I'll welcome any conversation or contacts, any suggestions on my search. My phone number is also out there. It's 972-365-6470. And then my email is double N as in Nick, double N, Adame at yahoo.com. So those are easy. It's all on my LinkedIn. Easy to remember, and again, let's connect and let's continue to have some more conversations.
That's right. Adame, guys, is how you pronounce Nick's last name. When I first met him, I wanted to throw that name out there. And, you know, when you mention someone's last name and you mispronounce it, they get this funny look on their face. But
I did not have a funny look. That's just what I always look like.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
You said it right on. You did. It's that, like you said, it's that exposure to the Latin side that allows you to say that. And again, it gets a lot of people mispronounce it, but it's all forgiving. I've lived with it for
you've been with that
a long
for
time now.
Yeah, we won't talk about how many years. But the Hispanic part of me wants to say Adame, and you know, I think that adds. Now, here's something to think about. Texas, we are our neighbors are Mexico, aren't they? And a lot of companies like Lala, and they're not the only one, come out of Mexico. There are giant companies in Mexico that have operations here in the United States, all across the United States. So if we guys have a Spanish affinity, if we speak Spanish, and guys, and I think Randy would agree with me on this, when we say we are bilingual, I think we ought to tell folks, we ought to expose on that a little bit. Which languages do you speak?
Oh yeah,
now,
for sure.
now, I know my friend Vika that I have not met yet. I'm looking forward to meeting you one day, Vika. I know she is Ukrainian and she's living in Belgium. So when I meet a Vika, I want to know what languages she speaks. Now, if you have a fluency in a language, hey, you might go to work for a company that is doing business in that particular country.
Yeah.
So Dana's shaking her head up and down, so I know I'm hitting it right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
No, I agree. I think there's one thing I think I should comment there is that, you know, in my role, I did have folks that we had positions that needed to be fluent in different languages, French in particular in Canada, as well as in Spanish in Argentina. And there was times when folks would say they were bilingual, but and they were bilingual in the sense that they could converse, but it's the different process when you're having business conversations, and oftentimes that didn't necessarily transcend to in their ability to have a business conversation. So I'm careful. You noted that I don't have that on my LinkedIn. I consider my Spanish conversational.
Yeah.
If and I could probably get through
Yeah, we
in
get
terms
by
of
with it.
speaking
Yeah.
in the business, but yeah, I'm careful what I put out there because if I don't want to over hype myself and say I'm bilingual in Spanish versus somebody who could actually articulate themselves and communicate and have a history of
Right.
communicating with a
Right.
business in Spanish.
That's
That
right.
makes sense.
And as leaders, we have a little bit more exposure to exactly what Nick was just talking about. We don't want to put ourselves somewhere where, oh, Nick is Spanish, and throw him in there and throw him in some conversation. Well, he
Right.
is sort of conversation, but in that conversation, you would be able to tell that Foster and Nick are not fluent.
Right.
Now, we have an affinity, and we can get along with you. Now, we can go to the restaurant and get the right kind of food. Now, don't think we can't get that one. But those things are important. And Randy, I would expect you to tell me that you have recruited for some positions that were bilingual, and they were specific as to the language that they wanted the person to be fluent in. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Like we've had companies that have asked for Portuguese, which how do
Oh,
you
wow.
find someone with Portuguese, unless
Go to
it's on your
Brazil.
resume. So something
Brazil. Yeah.
I would
Yes, the
recommend, Nick, is putting conversational Spanish on your resume, because sometimes we're searching for keywords, and if you don't have that keyword of Spanish, maybe we just need conversational ability,
Makes
and
sense.
so we might
Great
miss you if
suggestion.
we don't see that on the resume. So yeah,
Great
we've definitely
suggestion.
done that.
I like that.
Yeah, we recruiters, and Randy might agree with me on this one. When we're in companies, we build relationships through our how well we produce what they are looking for. Oh, okay, we're here to find people. Are you finding good people? Are you putting people? Are you submitting people through the pipeline that have abrasive personalities? We talked about that earlier. You know, and myself, Dana, especially Dana in her position right now, we are judged. It's not fair a lot of times, but we are judged on what we produce, what we, the type of people that we are getting hired, not getting hired, all that kind of thing. Guys, it's tough being a recruiter, but it's tough being anything in corporate America. But when you are working with people and you're making your money by connecting with people, I'm going to throw my word at you again. The most important thing is hit it, Dana. Oh, you're on mute.
Oh,
We can't hear
mute.
you.
Relationships.
There it is.
There you go.
Relationships.
Y'all knew
I
what I was
agree.
Yeah.
Shut up, Rick. He's texting me again. That's USC for you. But guys, I love what Nick is saying, and Nick is someone that you want to talk to your upper management. You want to let Nick talk to your upper management about where you're going and what you're doing. I like those scenarios, Nick, that you put, because there are companies that are growing so fast they just don't have enough people anymore, especially with the dynamics post COVID.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They're growing so fast. Oh my God, we can't get nothing done. I got this new
Right.
client over here. And, I've got to
Yeah.
have the people I've got to have the internal workforce to be able to handle that client. And a lot of companies are not honest with that because they want to get that money.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
aerospace, I hope you're listening to me. I've been in aerospace for a long time, but it's very important that you talk to a person like Nick. You hire a person like Nick. Nick is going to tell you he's going to give you the real on things. And he's been there. He's done that. He's worked oh
Yeah.
my God, Rick worked for PepsiCo at one time. So you've got a good background, Nick. We're here to talk more about you and who you are. So I don't want to talk too much. Is there something else that you'd like to share with us? Because I run my mouth.
No, I think the only thing I would, it kind of, it does touch on the aspect about relationships a bit. And it's really my third point about, probably most importantly above my expertise in finance and operations. I truly believe that an organization's success is only as good as its people. And
That's right.
it's about building high performing teams. And in my opinion, there's a bit of an art, but there's a couple, at least in my opinion, my humble opinion, there's at least a couple of elements there that are common to building those high performing teams. One is authenticity, and the second
Yeah.
one is trust.
Ooh,
And I'll elaborate. What do I mean, and what do I personally mean by authenticity? To me, it's as simple as being real, right? We're
Uh-huh.
human. Let's treat each other like human beings, right? We have different perspectives, we have different opinions, but as long as we have positive intent and we don't have hidden agendas, that goes a long way in terms of being able to accomplish the initiatives that we need. As long as we know we can trust each other in that regard and have that same positive intent, that to me goes a long way in terms of being authentic.
Yeah.
Trust, I think, is it's even harder. Trust is over time,
Over
and it
time.
takes a process where you have to have a two-way conversation and talk whether you're talking about how to complete a task, how do I improve my personal development, how do I sponsor an employee or one of our team members across an organization so they can move up across their business unit or across their organization. But it's really about not just listening, but to hearing what it's going to take for us to get this job done. And then
Hmm.
once you commit, then you deliver. The false promises, I think, oftentimes really deflate the ability to trust. If we say we're going to do something, then let's do it. Again, understanding I have a role, you have a role. Let's accomplish those tasks, those individual initiatives. And then as we execute and we deliver against those, we made that commitment. That's going to continue to develop that
That's
word
right.
about relationship. That now you have a relationship. You have something that's going to allow you to not just take this hill, but take the next hill.
That's right. There's one thing that you said in that authenticity. I'm going to say something that I'm pretty sure that Randy and Dana are going to agree with. We have been at our craft for a while now. And as you do, you notice certain things that maybe you didn't get when you were just starting your job. Nick is a senior level employee as well. So we recruiters have to have that. Oh, we had a unique word that I probably won't use on here at IBM, in that we can tell when you're we've been around long enough. We can tell when you're handing us a load of horse hockey, as my dad used to say. And that authenticity, guys, we people do not realize, job seekers, you do not realize when you are interviewing, you project who you are. You really do. And
Yeah.
it's in your voice inflection, it's in your eye contact, it's in a number of things that we recruiters and we hiring managers have to pay attention to, because we do not want to bring that abrasive person aboard our team in all situations. Sometimes we need an abrasive person, believe it or not, and they are not in short demand in corporate America.
no. Oh, it's
Yep.
sad.
So there are a number of things that Nick has explained, and I have had, guys, I have had my eyes on Nick. Nick and I have walked together through networking things, and I feel as though I can give Nick the job father seal of approval.
Ooh,
There it is, Dana.
Oh,
yes, it is.
wow.
Dana
Thank you,
and
boss.
Maz, who's not with us today,
Yeah,
actually came up with that idea, because we are a vetting process. You do not get on this show if you're not exemplary. It does not
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
And Dana and I are, and Randy, we are exemplary recruiters, and we want to represent exemplary folks that we are doing because of Dana. Hit it.
Relationship.
It 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 takes that, guys. It takes that. And the world is
It
getting a
does.
little bit more difficult to build those relationships. We're so
Absolutely.
busy.
Yes.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
there's so much technology, and we got to. Oh my God, I got to do this because right now my phone has been buzzing. I've been constantly getting texts about this show. And by the way, you guys that are texting me, if you would put in the comments section your ideas, it would be good. But
Yeah,
I'm
that'd be
glad that I'm
awesome.
glad because of my
Love it.
relationships. I'm glad you guys do text me during the show and say, "Foster, you're looking kind of funny, man. Your clothes look funny. You're wearing the wrong. You're representing the wrong college." I mean, I get all kinds of, and it's really fun. And so, Nick, question.
Yes.
Um, I know you are. Are you relocatable? I don't think so, but how much can
No.
you
In this world, the hybrid situation is something I would not be close to.
Uh-huh.
So if there's an opportunity that's somewhere in Texas and it's requires 3 days in the office,
Right.
but it's in Houston or Austin or whatever, then I'm certainly open to something like that.
Right. Right.
I'm not, necessarily at this point in my career looking to completely relocate. I want to stay, where I'm at now. I just actually moved into a new house back in September.
Oh, dude.
So I think that's my limitation, but certainly open to having some kind of hybrid situation.
Absolutely. And we live close to the airport, so you can jump over to DFW
Absolutely.
International
Yeah.
and take a trip to Argentina if you need to.
That is right. That's a
I
bit
think
of a trip, but yeah.
that would be really cool if an Argentine company contacted you.
That would
Wouldn't
be
that? Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that
Absolutely.
would be cool. So
Absolutely.
as we move forward, companies, these are some of the things that we recruiters, and Randy has not disagreed with anything me and Dana have said, so that's good. Um, you know, these are some of the things that we want to think about when we're hiring professionals. We say we want to hire the best. Well, what does that look like? And it doesn't look the same in every company
Mm-mm.
because our C-suite operates differently because they're not the same people in every company.
That's so
Yeah.
true. Mhm.
Yeah.
Foster, oh my God, you have common sense, Foster. Yeah, but we seem to get around that a lot of times. Nick told us we move too fast. Some companies
Yeah.
are growing so fast, y'all can't get together and think.
Nope.
Well,
I mean, it's so true.
you
Right.
better think about these things. And Nick, give us your email address again if you don't mind.
Sure. It's 2N, so double NADAME at yahoo.com.
Easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy. At least it's not I know that's a bit dated. Most people use Gmail. I have a Gmail address as well. It's double N Adame at Gmail, but at least it's not AOL. I have a few peers that still have AOL email addresses.
I have a friend that has a GTE.net still.
Ooh, might just be a good idea to upgrade to a Gmail for the purpose of job seeking.
That's
Exactly,
how I
right?
got to Verizon. GTE hired me, and then we
Oh.
married Bell Atlantic and became Verizon. So,
Yeah.
guys, we are close to the end.
Yeah.
We want to thank you guys, and we are here every Friday at 11 o'clock. You get to see Dana. You get to hear Foster, and go UCLA.
We'll see you next
Go
week.
Argentina.
Thank you for listening.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.